Welcome back. The Congressional Budget Office has issued its review of the American Health Care Act, and it's dividing Democrats and Republicans. Like that dress that broke the internet last year that was blue. House Speaker Paul Ryan says the bill will lower premiums and give families more options than they had under Obamacare, while Pennsylvania Democratic Senator Bob Casey claims it will offer higher costs and less coverage. So is the dress we call the American Health Care Act black and blue or white and gold? Joining me to debate right now, it's Anthony Scaramucci. He's the founder of the investment firm Skybridge Capital, and he also served on the executive committee for President Trump's transition team. Richard Fowler also joins me. He's the host of The Richard Fowler Show. He's also a Fox News contributor and wearing a tie that matches my dress. Welcome, gentlemen.
And your graphics.
Yeah, great graphics.
I can just sort of blend into the background.
You guys both match the graphics. Well done. Good choices. So let's talk a little bit about health care. A lot of Republicans are saying, you know, the CBO score doesn't matter because the CBO often gets it wrong. That doesn't bring a lot of comfort to Americans who are worried that their premiums are going to skyrocket under either plan.
Well, listen, I think this is a phased sort of plan, and so phase one, which got passed through the House, has to obviously get reconciled in the Senate.
Yeah. But
I think, again, maybe you'll agree with me, maybe Richard won't, if you're using free market forces and you're dropping the sort of forced mandate, I think that's better long-term for the American people. And I also think it'll relate to more competition, which will lower costs.
Yeah, and the forced mandate, I mean, that's going to be a state-by-state waiver. We don't know which states will partake in that. The Senate is not going to take up the legislation until now that they've got the CBO score. What does the CBO report say to you, and how gleeful are you that this probably has less of a chance of happening?
I'm horrified for the people who benefit from the Affordable Care Act, right? So here's the problem. I think you talked about the state waivers. So what the CBO score doesn't take into account is which states will waive out.
Yeah. I don't think they know that.
No, they don't. And so it's hard to know how many people will really be without health care, because when you waive out, that takes away the pre-existing conditions, that takes away the sort of protections against skyrocketing premium for high-risk pools.
It doesn't take away the pre-existing condition coverage. What it says is
you have to go into a high-risk pool.
Don't have to charge the exact same thing
for
the guy on the subway who was eating a pint of Haagen-Dazs and Fig Newtons this morning.
But
someone who had a kale smoothie for breakfast.
You saw me on the subway this morning?
But what it does say is that those individuals have to go into a high-risk pool, and we're not really sure what the premiums of that high-risk pool look like, which is what makes this bill problematic. We also heard this week from Mitch McConnell, who said, if you know anything about Mitch McConnell in Washington, when he says, well, you know, we're trying to figure it out, that's like, ooh, we don't have it together.
I wish there were more free market forces. I mean, there might be some, but this isn't a free market bill. It is an overly complexified version of a complex bill.
I'm going to get in trouble with both parties now because there's an indictment of both parties. They're still locked into the special interest. So there is a duopoly between the insurance companies and the doctors and the hospitals. Until we deregulate, this is a Ronald Reagan moment with Judge Harold Green going back to Ma Bell. When we broke up Ma Bell, data transmission went to zero in terms of its costs, and we had the explosion known as the Internet. You have to do the same thing to health care. You can bring the health care from the 18.7% of the GDP down into the tens if you begin the process of deregulation, and that means that you have to switch the patient care model. Doctors won't necessarily like that. Insurance companies won't necessarily like that. But patients will like that, Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something I think Richard and I could agree on. Let's break the special interest lobby.
Do you want to deregulate health care? Because it seems like Democrats are total statists. The ultimate control for them is over people's lives and health.
I've always said on this show, I think sitting in the same seat, I said health care and health insurance and health care are two complete different things. And I think that is the argument that both Democrats and Republicans mention in Washington, that we are talking about health insurance and we're debating about health insurance, but at the same time we're forgetting that health insurance just gives you a coupon to get health care. And so we've got to, if we really want to fix this health care system, Obamacare is not perfect, right? But if we want to fix it, then we've got to say
Obamacare is a lot less than perfect. I know that's a common talking point. Democrats like,
if we've got to fix it, we've got to change the mindset and say we're going to focus on fixing health care and not health insurance.
Start from scratch and reprogram the way we're delivering primary, secondary, and tertiary care, and then how we're delivering people into the hospitals. If you make those three big changes, you'll reduce the costs and you'll shift the paradigm in the discussion. No one seems to want to do that in Washington.
We have to have a paradigm shift. You're absolutely absolutely right.
Which is why this is a
This
bad
bill doesn't do it. The CBO score is pointless because it's going to change so much in the Senate. It will be unrecognizable when it gets to the House. Who knows what they're going to do with it?
It is delivering some free market elements, which I happen to like.
I think it's a bad
I love
bill.
the free market.
It's a bad bill.
I want to rub my fingers through the free market's hair, but I can't do that because the free market is still shaved with this bill.
The free market is the reason all three of us are here.
We are.
We would never make it here without the free market.
Oh,
We
stop.
wouldn't. And that's why we're on Fox Business.
Oh, stop, he said. So what do you would have gotten to where you are with
All
that
right,
beautiful
I am
tie
going
and
to
the
stop you.
socialist
Yes,
structure?
thank you. You're a socialist with a great tie. And that's why I love you, Richard Fowler.
They just got called a
You
socialist.
too.
I love it.
No, I said in a socialist structure.